So I hope all of you are ready to kickstart your cross-border business journey with Amazon. So some important notice for you to take a quick read. All right, so whatever we share today on the recommendation, etc., is intended for informational purposes for you. So do your due diligence if you are going to take in any of these recommendations to seek your advice from your professionals, like tax, legal, financial advice from your professional teams. All right. Okay, I see a couple of new names here today. So if you are new, we do have a YouTube channel. So do subscribe if you have not subscribed. All right, it's a growing channel. We have a lot of content. All right, this is the handler. All right, Amazon Global Selling. So you can get the link on the side of the chat as well. That is appearing in this webinar and also in the follow-up emails. Okay, so if you have any question, let me know in the Q&A box. If you put in any questions during the sign up, I would have extracted in the morning. If you did not see your question later, please let me know. All right, and then for the benefit and for also to be fair to all those who spend your time with me over here, the Q&A session will not be recorded. All right, so only the content itself will be available for playback at the official YouTube playlist on Amazon Global Selling channel, all right? So last but not least, always make sure you refer back to the Seller Central Help or Seller Central University for the most updated information if you're watching this recording a few months down the road. So a short and quick introduction of the team I'm in, the Seller Education team. So we provide free education and training through a variety of the learning program, such as the one you're attending right now, which is the Amazon Live webinar. So every week I would have a couple of webinars, right, for all sort of seller of all sort of journey. Right, you could be a new seller or you could be a seller who are already selling in Amazon for about a year or two. Right, so there's something available for you to learn, like a policy update or new features or new products launches, etc. in the webinar, which I will share. And then I'll invite service provider or I will invite some other Amazonians to actually come into the webinar and share their insight and perspective with you. Right, the other one is the Salon University, which is part of our team that I work closely with to share with you the content we call the one-pager content in the Seller Central or in the public-facing site. You can download some of the PDF or you can actually go to Seller Central under the help navigation to learn and to get to know more about selling on Amazon, and it will actually help you keep track of the learning progress on the Seller Central website itself for you on all the contents on Seller University, which is more comprehensive than what you might be having to attend right now on the live webinar. It's a more detailed guide that you get from the Seller University for those who prefer to read more. Right, so today what I want to share with all of you here is what exactly is cross-border selling and whether it's still worthwhile to start your business now doing cross-border online selling. All right. So, as you probably know, the scale of cross-border online selling continue to rise. Online consumption has also become the general trend. I'm pretty sure every one of us here on this call definitely bought something, probably in the past week or even, last month as well. So as we know that the global retail sales will, keep on getting uptrend as well, and also some other emerging markets, so that provides a lot of business opportunity for everyone to do cross-border selling. Right, so today we're going to learn the basics of the cross-border online selling. All right, how you can, build some of your core cross-border competitiveness using some of the cross-border channels that we have, and also some of the fulfillment, services and channel that I can share with you, and also what are the support available from you over here at the global selling team. Okay, so before we begin, just to share with you some other terms, all right, that you need to know over here. Like this is I would say like a graph about the cross-border export selling transaction chain, right? The different players, or rather different uh, entity that appears here, like for example, manufacturer, right? So usually they are the factory or the supplier, right? They have the manufacturing capabilities, or you can get them to design certain features, certain product features for you, right? And then usually they do not have their own brand. They are basically focusing on manufacturing, mass producing certain products for their customers, right? So they take orders, all right, from usually like bulk orders from a companies, or even individual could make a huge bulk order. They would probably be doing those business as well with them. All right. So they will usually trade with, or rather, do business with like traders or even brand owners. All right, traders like exporters, etc. All right. So to connect manufacturer and brands with overseas customers. Right, something to consider. They will think of which is the destination country that they are going to sell their product, and also think about the product compliances, the languages of the product that they want to sell in. Is there any limitations, right? And also some other areas to take note of. Right, another group of the people or companies that manufacturers could work with is also what we call the brand owners. Right, they could be companies that have their own brands. Right, they are closer to their target customer base. They know their customer needs better. Right, and then they will usually be the one who are able to produce or to give the factory, like what is the requirements to get them to customize their products suitable for their target customers. Right. So when they go through, like export cross-border selling through the website, this is where the customer are, where you will be typical customers, they'll be on the website trying to look for and shop for products, right? So things to note, consider your target audience, what kind of products they may like, and then you can actually customize or sell products targeted to this demographic of people. So they could also be end-to-end the end user customer, or they could be also companies itself, like they could doing purchase from this website, B2B or B2C, depending. So there are some similarities between cross-border, right, online selling and also traditional foreign trade, right? So essentially, they all sell goods abroad, sell goods to different countries overseas, right? The main difference will be that the efficiency, of the all aspect of a cross-border online transaction would have improved a lot, right? Looking at the different business model and chain. So cross-border online selling has different, or rather have a couple of following advantages, which I'm going to share with you as well. All right. So these are the difference, all right, selling domestically versus selling globally. So it's important to understand that, the domestic requirements, meaning that, in your own country versus selling to the other country, the needs might be very different in terms of the customer preferences. And also how you deliver and complete a transaction through cross-border fulfillment is also a little bit different, right? So cross-border fulfillment will mainly refer to the delivery of the products from one country to another country, which is where usually the customer is residing in, right? So there are services available to help you with like custom declaration, warehousing, and distribution. Right, so the image on the right side kind of show you, what are different steps, from a global seller like yourself, what are the steps eventually required in order for the product to reach your customers. Right, so there's about 9 steps. And also you might want to think of in terms of the processing the transaction in different currency. Right, most of the time the customer will usually pay in their local currency on those website. So you might want to also consider these are the potential exchange rates that might be different. Right, when you're doing cross-border, and what are the compliance in terms of the financial compliances, etc. Right, and then the other thing to note is also about taxes, right? Different custom duties you might be incur for the cross-border e-commerce exports, and also the different country might have different taxes like VAT, etc. Right. So, after sharing some of the overview, you might know that the most important model for selling on Amazon is to really selling products to individual consumer, the individual customer, right? Which is what we call the B2C model, business to customer or business to consumer model. Right. So there is a lot of different business opportunity to help you to sell your product to the different, I think there's now more than 18 overseas stores. Right. This is where, Amazon Global Selling is here to support, right? You can reach hundreds and millions of active consumer globally. Right. So I believe the numbers is a lot more now in terms of the number of fulfillment center, right, and the sorting center, right? These are data that may not be very updated, but I'm pretty sure, as of today, there's definitely more than 400 plus over fulfillment center, across the more than 150 worldwide sorting center, etc. Okay. So some other support that is also available here, from the global selling team is that as a new seller, you do get some incentive. So part of the new seller incentive 2024, which will usually ends in the March this year. So usually every start of the year in that year of April, there might be newer incentive. Right. So since this is January, so the 2024 new seller incentive is still applicable and these are the benefits. Right, so when I have the information regarding the 2025 new seller incentive, there'll definitely be another webinar that I will be running to share with you what are the newer incentive. But typically it doesn't different too much year over year. There may be some slight differences in terms of the requirements or in terms of the incentive that might be available, but it will not differ too much. Right, so as of now, the 2024 new seller incentive, this is some of the key benefits that you will be able to enjoy, like up to 50% or up to 50,000 sales rebates for your first million sales, etc. Right, and then we do have the perfect launch guide for new seller as well. Right, it is auto enrollment, so you do not have to click on anything. Or if you're a new seller, you will be automatically enrolled in this new seller incentive. Right, and again, these incentives are subject to change annually. So you might want to refer to the terms for the applicable year. So if you sign up now and you start selling, you will most likely be under the 2024 new seller incentive. All right. So I do have the playbook here that you can download for everyone. So basically, this is to share as a seller, what you can do as your in your first 90 days, right? Because the first 90 days is very important based on the data that we see over here. There will be a significant effect on the seller performance, right? If the different steps are taken during the first 90 days, which is very critical, right? Things like the brand registry, FBA enrollment, using sponsored product ads, coupon, etc. Right? So we do see that the store sales for the whole year are usually about 10 times more of other seller who did not do these actions that was recommended during the first 90 days. All right, so don't worry about the QR code. I will be sharing the QR code later at the end as well. It's also in my dedicated resource page. Right, to share an overview, what are the preparation that is required. Right, so if you're brand new, you might want to first start to analyze, your strength and your weaknesses, right, to determine, what are the strengths that you have and then what are the weaknesses that you can leverage some help from. Analyze the challenges and opportunity you face that you could have faced, if you want to start to do your online selling business, right? And then think of some of the strategies that you might be able to help you grow your business. Right, so these are the things you can work on, investigate the market size and the growth potential. Right, so I won't go through each point, but you can briefly read through to understand. So basically, this is to do your research, on understanding what are the categories or what are the product categories that you want to go into the target, for example, stores that you want to sell in, like a US, right? how you're going to go about reaching those target audiences and the target segment of customers, doing your price and product research, right? And then the most importantly, you want to make sure that your product is addressing certain pain points or demands of your target audience. Right. Study the sales trend of your existing competitor. This is something that all sellers should do it, right, for starting out, so that you don't go into the business blindly without any research or data points. Right. Use the data most importantly. All right. So in the Seller Central, we do have tools that you can extract out to look at the trends of what is the product pricing, the product sales in the Amazon store that you're selling into. Right, so we do have a more detailed guide, the category trends that you can download to help you kickstart your product selection, right, and how you can do your trademark for your product. Right. So the next step is to really find the right overseas channel to support your cross-border business. Right, these are the different points to consider. So even though Amazon, puts you in touch with millions of customers, you might also start to want to think about just maybe focus on one country first, one store first, right? So even though there's a lot of stores that you can potentially look to expand as your business grow. So usually, what I do see is that most sellers started in the North America store first, right? Mainly like the US, right? And then next, you also want to understand choosing the channel, right? This is more the operational aspect of things. So once you talk about that, this is something you need to do is really to start your registration to get the account as well. If you have not get your account to kickstart, your Selling Central account, right? So get ready the documents required to register an account, like your documents, your ID, your passport, or if you are businesses, you want to make sure that you have your businesses documents ready as well. And if you're selling the products that may need compliance, for example, you're selling kids related product or you're selling food product or cosmetic, etc., you want to make sure that you have the necessary compliance documents ready so that to make your launching of your product more smoothly. Right, so some important notes regarding preparing for the account registration. Right, so you also make sure you have a bank statement or a recent one, right, and then a proper, or should I say, a credit card, right, accurate contact information, right. So if you're buying something off from your supplier, make sure you keep all the transaction invoices, etc. Right. Next is really more about preparing your, I would say, understand your team and the operation if you are having a team to help you to manage your operations, right? Market research, design development, production and the assembly, etc., the promotion, transportation and warehouse, right? So if you are starting small, then most likely you might have to dabble, work on these yourself, or you could hire a smaller team or even outsource to like a virtual assistant, etc., to help you with this. Right, so this is a lot more to share. Ideally, your operation should execute the four core competency, like this pyramid over here, the sequence of the operation competencies. All right, this is more applicable, once you start to grow bigger. This is something you want to think about. right, to determine your company structure, whether does it matches your current stage of your company growth, right? Then you might want to optimize according to what is needed. All right, so don't worry if you think there is a lot to understand. We do have a proper, or rather more detailed registration and research guide that you can download from the Seoul University, right? Because I just look at the questionnaire today, I think almost 99% of you actually shared that you have not have an account yet. You're probably just starting out, which is why I didn't go in too much of detail. So I think today's session is really to help you understand that what is available, and then what are the potential that you could think of to kickstart. Really to think about your strength and weaknesses. Think about what are the potential product and that you could probably leverage to sell into the stores, for example, like the US. All right, and then to get yourself prepared and think about whether or not you want to start selling on Amazon, because the next few webinar I have is also more targeting towards sellers who are very new to selling on Amazon, because there's so much to cover. So every webinar I'll try to cover a little bit more to help you gear your understanding towards on how to start selling on Amazon. All right, so we are almost to the end. I want to share with you the resources, more resources that we have. Well, this is what I was sharing earlier on as well. So if you want to get an idea on what are the products that you could sell or you want to sell, you can download this guide, right? The product selection guide, as well as the growth opportunity guide for you to help you to understand how to use the tools to find products that you potentially could sell on Amazon. All right, so that is almost the end, and I want to share we have the other webinars coming up tomorrow and also the day after as well. But tomorrow is really more about account registrations. So if you have not started registering for an account, do sign up for the webinar tomorrow, where we share with you the step by step on the account registration process. And then on the Thursday, it will be more of what you need to prepare before getting your first listing up and running. All right. And the following week, I'll be sharing with you more about FBA, what really is FBA and how can FBA help you? Because I think most of us don't really, reside in the US or the country that we are selling into, right? So it might be easier in that sense to actually leverage FBA, the wide fulfillment network and logistic that Amazon have to help you fulfill your product, send it to your customer, right? Rather than fulfilling it yourself, that may be more tedious compared to using FBA, since we don't stay at the country of the customer we are selling into. Right, and then we also have the A to Z guide, to share with you what are the different program features that you can leverage on to help you launch your product. All right. And then the last webinar for this month will be more on the Seller Central. I would say overview. So I will go through with you the different section in Seller Central, what is important. Right, so Seller Central is actually the website that you log into to put out your listing, to submit your document, to update your deposit method, update your banking details, etc. over there. All right. So I'm going to move on to the live Q&A right now. Okay, let me see if there's any questions from the audience.